And welcome to Atheist Sunday School.
Your one-stop shop for everything Atheist Sunday and school
Especially the school part.
Yeah.
And today, it is a very school-like episode because I have a lot of notes.
Yeah.
I brought notes.
So even though these sections are a little shorter than usual, I believe we'll be talking about them quite a bit.
Yeah, actually all the notes that I have are about the golden calf, because it's a very interesting story. So we don't have Ruben today.
No.
As you might have noticed. He's out of town still.
Yeah, he'll be back next week for sure.
Yeah.
So don't worry, we didn't kick him off the show if that's what you were thinking. Just because he always looks perpetually high doesn't mean he's not a good reader and doesn't have some commentary to add, so his presence will be missed today.
Yeah.
So first, as usual, we've got the 100-point show.
Yes, while we wait for people to get here.
While we wait for people to get here. So let's get started on that with your question first. What's your question for me?
When was Genesis written?
(700 BC). You have the answer to your question?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you. All right. In the event of an emergency, what do most water pumping stations traditionally do before venting their water into a local area?
Tell everybody that there's an emergency.
Oh, well, that's true, but
Shit.
that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, fine. I got it. I got 50 points.
You get 2.
Oh, okay, 2 points. That's good.
On the 100-point show, he gets 2.
In the lead.
He has the most. So far, no one has succeeded until now.
Yes. So we do have some announcements now that we got some people in here. Hello, people. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Yes. We do have announcements, and I'm going to get my calendar up here because there was some confusion when I was talking to some people. Yeah, right. Oh, no. So I was like, okay, I got to get this very correct.
All right.
Okay. So Thursday, the 5th of April, is a conference at UWM. And Aaron Ra is going to be there. And the day after, on the 6th, on a Friday, he's going to be here in studio, and we're actually going to do an episode of Atheist Sunday School on Friday with Aaron Ra.
Yes. And there's another event.
Yep, on the 7th.
On the 7th. So that's 3 days in a row, right?
Yep.
Okay, so these 3 days, remember, 5, 6, 7 of April.
Yeah.
And they've got quite a lot of events coming up. So it's Milwaukee Humanists.
Yes.
Good friend of ours, Joe, runs and works with that. So keep up the good work. Hopefully you guys can check them out too.
Yeah, it's going to be a benefit for rape survivors, I think.
And and I believe their band Sub-Astral will be playing there, but without their
Damien,
without Damien. So
we lost a good friend recently, Damien. He was a sharp mind in the atheist community in Milwaukee.
And in general, not to mention, he was with Black Non-Believers, and he was a talented musician, and he has some really nice kids, so they're gonna miss him a lot. It's too bad. So, best wishes out to his family.
Yep.
Stuff.
Thoughts and prayers.
Well, we can't do that here.
We
don't think.
Damien would not like that.
He would hate that.
He would
be like, that's useless to him. So I think there's a thing, like you could donate to the family because he was their source of income and stuff. So if you guys know him or anything, say stuff, donate, do what you can to help.
And before we get started into the reading,
one more thing.
Yeah. Just remember to subscribe if you haven't, and like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah,
there's a website for forums. I
Yeah,
meh.
MilwaukeeAtheist.com.
That's right. So we're still around there. We got some 15, 16 people, I think, maybe now signed up.
Yeah, around there.
Something like that. So, feel free and chat. I want to have some fun memes. Maybe if anything really funny comes up in here, we'll keep track of that and I'll make something for it today. Could be really fun. So let us know in the comments and we'll try to be as timely about getting back to those as we can. And let's get started on today's reading.
Yep, so I think you're starting with chapter 31.
Oh, good timing for my eye to stop working. Oh, man. Sorry, man. I guess you got to go first. No, I think I just got an eyelash or something. I got it. All right. Chapter 31. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezalel. Wow. Bezalel.
I guess.
It's butchering itself. I can't even help it. And the son of Uri, and the son of Hur, and the tribe of Judah. And I have filled them with the Spirit of God, the wisdom and the understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship. So that's a lot of things.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff going for them.
They sure do. Wow. What's that? Devise cunning works, to work in gold, and in silver, and in brass, which, as if you were following the tabernacle, they really use the shit out of those.
They do.
They are all up in that tabernacle. And the cutting of stones to set them, and in carving of timber, to work in all manner of workmanship. So here's a question. Why is it that God wants you to do that? I still don't understand why God wants you to make stuff, particularly, and another form of his blessings now, apparently, or being filled with the Spirit of God gives you the ability to work harder, I think.
Well,
is that what I'm getting at here?
I think it was just the writer of this really just wanted to have a place of meeting, or the tent of meeting, the Holy of Holies, the tabernacle.
Right.
So I think
for this occasion, the blessing of God is to help build this thing. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like this is just written to control people. Let's be honest here.
Okay. Well,
At least this
I'm
part.
Suddenly compelled to stop reading and go work on these things. I gotta go, man.
You gotta go build
worked.
some of this.
It worked. All right. And behold, I have given. Sorry, Lawrence.
Behold,
you were drinking. I have given with him. What's that? Holabab?
Oh, Holiab. Wait.
Aholiab?
That's a name, I'm guessing, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. And the son of Ashermach of the tribe of Dan. I love these super complex names right next
And
to
then Dan.
Dan. I mean, it's still funny to me. And in the hearts of all that are wise-hearted, I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I have commanded thee. The tabernacle of the congregation, what's that? Congregation, sorry.
I just have the tent of meeting. This is very
Wow.
simple.
Yeah.
Tent of meeting.
Yeah, the tabernacle of congregation.
Yeah.
And the ark of the testimony, and the mercy seat that is thereupon, and all the furniture of the tabernacle.
All right.
And the table and his furniture, and the pure candlestick with all his furniture, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering with all his furniture, and the laver of his foot, and the clothes of service, and the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his son, to minister in the priest's office. So it's just more garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just a list of all the things that are going to be in the tabernacle.
Well, I mean, this is now bizarre to me, because we discussed this earlier, you and I, as to the authorship of the Bible, which is that book there.
Yeah.
And who wrote all the stuff about the tabernacle? One guy,
The tabernacle is one guy, yeah.
One guy. This isn't him, is it?
31? I'm pretty sure it is.
If this is him, he sure, even though that we've noticed there's a lot of restating through different authorship, it's very bizarre here that if it's the same author, he's still restating it either way. He's still doing repetition.
Oh, you know what's really interesting?
What's that?
Okay.
31 is by whom?
So to the point that we're at right now, 31. Okay, let's see. The tabernacle. Actually, hold on. It is the same author.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it is the same author.
So up to this point, because it changes authorship at 12 right here. Up to this point, it's the guy restating
hold on.
himself, isn't it?
No, it's all the same author. See, under it was P. So P stands for like the priesthood, basically, the priestly, which is why it's so important for the priests to write all the stuff about the tabernacle. So we call the author of that P.
And as I was saying now, if this is true, that the author of everything about the tabernacle is P, then in this section here, 1 through 11, it's basically a complete restatement on his part, or a synopsis of what's just been talked about with the tabernacle.
It's pretty much, he just keeps going, which is crazy.
I mean, dude, yeah, he already went on and on about the very ins and out of all these furnitures that he's now just skimming over to synopsis. But I think it's really weird nonetheless. So
unless there's like some scholarship since this book came out on that particular thing, I'm pretty sure this is where the consensus is at. And I want to take a moment to shout out this book, Who Wrote the Bible by Richard Elliott Friedman. He's an Old Testament scholar. This is a really good book, actually. I am over halfway through it now, but it's really good. It's a really easy read.
It's less than 200 pages, I think.
No, it's over 200 pages.
No. Well, it's less than 300 pages.
Yeah.
There, that's an office sit-down read.
Yeah, but it's a very good introduction, I think, to Old Testament scholarship, because he goes over the documentary hypothesis and the reasons why it exists. So it's really good. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Who Wrote the Bible? Richard Elliott Friedman.
So check that out, and thanks to that, we know that the authorship of those sections changes right here.
It changes. We just went over this. No, they don't change.
Oh no, it doesn't. It's still all him for this chapter.
Yeah, for all the tabernacle stuff.
I see. It just is separated for some reason right there. Oh, that's 33. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was looking somewhere else. I got it wrong. My bad. Well, the point is this tabernacle guy is just so obsessed with it. He surmises that there needs to be an entire chapter dedicating to just synopsing everything that you need to.
And just to point this out, in the appendix, you guys can't obviously see it that well.
Well, they might be able to.
Yeah, you might be able to. But basically, it gives like all the stories in the Old Testament, all the different narratives, and it breaks it down by verse. And the really interesting thing is that it tells you who wrote it, who wrote each verse. Like, you know how we went over creation, and there were two different narratives?
Yeah.
That's because two different people wrote it.
Right.
The second one was written by Jay, the Yahwist.
I was saying that this book will be considerably more useful for us right now than the compendium over there, which hasn't had more than one successful purpose so far. We haven't used it successfully more than once.
Yeah. So let's,
that should be better.
Yeah, let's continue though.
Yeah, we're at 11. So. And the anointing oil and the sweet incense for the holy place, according to all that I have commanded thee shall they do. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, I hate when they do that. What's that? V-E-R-I, verily?
Verily.
Verily.
Yeah.
What's verily?
Like, much.
Much. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Verily.
It's just that phrasing. Weird. Verily, my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations.
Oh, actually, I think it means like above all.
Above all?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the translation I got in here. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes more sense. Oh, and today we don't have our other Bible. We're just using the
King James and the English Standard Version.
Yep. So we're not using the Holy Scriptures according to the Jewish Publication Society of America, according to... Oh, man, I don't remember the rest. Damn. Oh, it's such a long game. We'll get it next week, because I'll have it. All right. So I am somewhere in 13, right?
Yeah.
Generations, yeah. That ye may know that I am the Lord, that doth sanctify you. I like doth. Doth Dawkins.
Just keep fucking reading.
It makes sense now. No. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that dwelleth, it shall surely be put to death. Or defileth. Everyone that defileth, it shall surely be put to death. So don't screw this
screw it up.
really expensive tabernacle that everyone works super hard on.
Yeah.
For whoso,
You'll die.
Yeah. For whosoever doth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. So it's worse than death.
Exile.
Perhaps. Totally exiled. Hello. Let's see. 6 days may work be done. Blah, 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 blah. But in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest. So they're reiterating that again. Holy to the Lord. Whosoever doth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wow. That's pretty extreme for just not... You are working today.
That's bad. Stop that.
Stop that. Or
Day of the Lord.
Yeah, you're going to die if you don't. That's brutal. You have to rest. What if you don't want to rest?
Yeah, what if you don't?
Yeah, jeez.
Fuck you, God.
Hobbies. No hobbies on Sunday from God. Must sleep in. All right.
16?
Yeah. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days of the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of, what's that? Communing?
And he gave to Moses when he had finished speaking with him on Mount Sinai.
Communing with him upon Mount Sinai.
Oh, communion, okay.
Yeah, communing. That's a weird word. With tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of God.
So, hold on. This is incredibly important.
Okay.
This is actually super important.
I'm holding on.
Here is an actual Bible lesson for you guys. So it says here specifically that the tablets were written with the finger of God. Nowhere else in the Bible does it say that anyone wrote anything with their finger except for this, and then later Jesus writes on the ground, and I quote, with his finger. It was a clear allusion, because it was in John, in the pericope adultery, the woman taken into adultery. That story, part of it, where Jesus writes on the ground with his finger, was written specifically to mimic the Moses tradition. It was specifically, now Jesus wasn't just this guy sent down to save everyone, and he wasn't just, following the law. He was the author of it. That was how that part of the story was written.
Gotcha.
It's really fascinating, actually.
So that's a big callback later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Because so much of the Jesus story goes back to Moses.
So I'm going to do everyone a favor and say a summary for chapter 31. All right?
Why?
Oh, because it's easy. It's like 2 sentences.
Chapter 31.
Yeah,
okay, I thought you were 32.
We're going to give you a summary for it. Tabernacle, Moses gets tablets.
No, that's terrible.
You're terrible.
No, I have a better summary of 31.
Let's go.
If you work on the Sabbath, you die. If you fuck with the tabernacle, you die. And also Moses gets tablets.
Okay, that's pretty good too. All right, how about we get on to the next one?
Yep.
Golden calf. So,
chapter 32.
Real quick, behind me, you can see the golden calf.
Yep.
and we'll be discussing quite a bit about that. It seems like there's a lot of information to cover on this,
Yeah,
so we may end up making perhaps a special on this at some point.
Yeah,
because
it's a very interesting topic, and hopefully you guys understand why I find it so interesting after we go over this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the story, and then I'm going to go back and hit the notes.
Yeah.
Because it's really important to understanding the world the writer lived in. And remember, this is a different writer than the guy who wrote the Tabernacle.
Which one is this one?
This one is E.
E.
So E stands for Elohist. Mm-hmm. He was the one who called God Elohim, or one of them. There were actually two. There was E and P, I think.
Oh, P.
Or E and J.
E and J.
No, E and P. E and P called God Elohim.
And the other guys
called him Yahweh.
Yahweh. Okay.
Okay. So the Elohist, E, was a Levite. So he was writing from the Levite perspective, as opposed to the guy who wrote the Tabernacle, who was P, who was...
doing a priesthood's perspective.
Well, the priesthood, but it was in Judah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't
the same
a Levite. It was a different region.
Yeah, okay. So you can kind of get the feel of the people at the time there, too, a little bit. Probably.
Yeah, the Levites at this point felt pretty screwed because, like, the government that they lived under wasn't really ever helping them out. Mm-hmm. They kind of got they pulled the short straw.
Yep.
So that is why the writer of the Golden Calf story wrote it like this, because the priesthood thought themselves to be descendants of Aaron. So
they obviously embellished the crap out of Aaron here.
Yeah, because the different guy wrote it.
Right, the priesthood embellished the crap out of Aaron.
Oh,
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into the Golden Calf story. Really interesting shit here. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, "Up, make us gods who shall go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." So Aaron said to them, "Take off the rings of gold that are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." So all the people took off the rings of gold that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold from their hand. From their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool and made a golden calf. And they said...
So by the way, I want to just say something kind of funny here. At this point, we have covered half of that entire episode we reviewed on our New Year's special. Because they have side characters like the bull and a couple other things. If you guys haven't seen that look at how bad that episode is. It's a terrible episode. But it goes through the story of the golden calf, and I believe more than half of it has gone by already. Because they already built the golden calf. Half of that is there. So what's weird is this story is quite long in some ways. It's not very long, but it's long enough. And the way I've seen it depicted in different cultural interpretations and video and in kids' stories and stuff, they embellish certain parts and really add more to the narrative of certain parts that do not exist in here. They just do not exist in here. And I find that very bizarre how liberal they are on that, because it's astounding how inaccurate it is to the real story.
Yeah.
It's completely inaccurate. It has nothing to do with it. So, all right, please continue.
Where was I? Oh, and he made the golden calf.
Yeah.
And they said, this is very important. This is one of the things you have to remember from when we go over this later. "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." Fuck it. I'll get to this later. I'll go over why this is crazy. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord." And they rose up early the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And the Lord said to Moses, "Go down, For your people, whom you brought up out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way that I have commanded them. They have made for themselves a golden calf, and they worshipped it and sacrificed to it, and said, These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord said to Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore, let me alone, that my wrath may burn hot against them, and I may consume them, in order that I make a great nation of you. So Moses is like, let me fuck them up. I'll go down there and I'll fuck them right up. And then Moses implored the Lord his God.
Implored?
Yeah, implored.
That's cool.
The Lord his God, and said, O Lord, why does your wrath burn hot against your people, whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say, with evil intent did he bring them out to kill them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from your burning anger and relent from this disaster against your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, your servants, to whom you swore by your own self and said to them, I will multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have promised I will give to your offspring, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord relented from the disaster that he had spoken of bringing on his people. So God changed his mind again.
This is
one of the
all part of his plan to change his mind.
Yeah.
He wanted to do that.
He's changed his mind a few times.
Yeah, but he wanted to. He had to. It's divine will. Come on, you know how that
Divine will.
bullshit works. All right.
Then Moses turned and went down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand, tablets that were written on both sides, on the front and on the back they were written. The tablets were the work of God, and the writing was the writing of God, engraved on the tablets. When Joshua, and this is also, remember Joshua. Just remember Joshua for this next portion.
Who?
Fucking God.
Is it
It's Joshua.
Holy Mama again?
Oh, Holy Mama. When Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said to Moses, There is a noise of war in the camp. But he said, It is not the sound of shouting for victory, or the sound of the cry of defeat, but the sound of singing that I hear. And as soon as he came near the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, Moses' anger burned hot, and he threw the tablets out of his hand, and he broke them at the foot of the mountain.
You know, if you get magic tablets written by God, it's probably not advised you would throw them.
Yeah, but he gets them back.
He goes back and grabs some more?
He gets some more.
Oh, that's
so,
good.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But the really interesting thing here is in the story, what the people are doing is against the law.
This guy's not a fan of sci-fi. He's saying it's science fiction. What's the point of this? This is good sci-fi.
Okay. What is it?
He says it's science fiction. What's the point of this?
Okay.
This whole thing. The whole thing we're doing.
Just reading it. We want to understand our enemy. Okay. So
they're not enemies. They're just other people with other perspectives who we don't agree with.
We know that they're wrong from reading this. But anyway.
I don't know what's right and wrong, but I do know that people like to kill each other over these things, and that I don't like it when people kill each other.
I also don't like it when people kill each other.
So that's not great, but let's keep reading.
Okay. I just want to point out here what I was getting to before. So in this story, the people are sinning. They're breaking the first 2 laws. Don't worship other gods and no graven images. And here they're doing 2 things in one go, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And the thing is, they haven't even seen the tablets yet.
Right.
So it's a very interesting thing of note.
Didn't they mention what was on the tablets already?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
but the people haven't gotten the tablets.
Correct.
They don't know what the law is.
Well,
so it's just interesting.
They haven't eaten from the tree of good and evil. They wouldn't know what good and bad is. Wait, never mind. I'm confused now.
All right.
Let's keep
Well,
going.
let's continue.
Yeah.
So Moses has just broken the tablets. He took the calf that they had made and burned it with fire and ground it to powder and scattered it on the water and made the people of Israel drink it.
Oh,
wow.
If you'd like to see me drinking a container that's old looking, filled with glitter, that's gold, for this exact scene, you can see that in a Holy Shit episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. So I actually did drink some of that glitter. That was terrible. Had to get that out of my mouth. So it's on Amazon Prime. Check it out.
And Moses said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought such a great sin upon them?" And Aaron said, "Let not the anger of my Lord burn hot. You know the people that they are set on evil. For they said to me, 'Make us gods who shall go before us.' As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. So I said to them, 'Let any who have gold take it off.' So they gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf." It's like, I didn't actually make the calf. It just kind of...
He clarified his question. We got to get back to that.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and get back to that then.
Oh, okay. I was saying, well, can you see it from here? Sorta. It's harder to
Shit,
explain.
this got caught.
Uh-oh.
Just read it off.
Okay, it says, "I didn't say what you're doing is not nice," so he likes our stuff. That's good. Thanks for liking our stuff. He appreciates it. He's talking about the people who study the Bible and whose life depend on it. What's the point if it's science fiction?
Oh, okay. Well, it's actually...
That's a better question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's actually super interesting why they study it, and I think it's a good thing. Because the writers, they were writing this in the context they were living in. They had to.
Yeah.
So we can tell a lot about the authors and their thoughts from what they're writing, from how they're portraying things, from what point of view.
Yeah.
So we can figure out who wrote the Bible and why.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because so many people... I read a paper on academia yesterday that was arguing for the inerrancy of the Bible and that it was fully God-inspired. Nothing has ever been wrong with it. There's just nothing that's inaccurate in it on academia. And I think anyone can really publish anything on academia, I think.
I would think so.
Yeah, but it was just so crazy. I was like, wow, this is a paper. Like, this is what people believe this shit.
Well,
And, like, I knew that people believe this shit.
Yeah.
That's not, like, news to me.
Right.
But, like, that's some people that go to, like, higher-end schools like Oxford and shit. Like, I mean, some of them believe this crap.
And I've said this before, though, but the sheer impact of this book on cultures across the world and on political dynamics and on so many grounds of livelihood that it is very important for anyone to get a good understanding about this thing because it's the best-selling or the most published book or something like that.
And best-selling.
I don't know if it's the most published. I think Mao Zedong's Little Red Book was technically published more because he printed more of them.
I have no idea.
Nobody bought them. He gave them for free. So, they're competing.
Well, it's definitely
they're both free books. You can get these for free, usually if you go to a church or if you go to China. So, there you go.
Yeah, but I think it's very important to study the Bible to understand the context these were written in.
Right.
And we can then match it up with like some archaeological evidence and actually figure out who wrote it and when and why and kind of who they were. Not their name, but
no.
Yeah.
But you get a good idea of where they were in their life during that time.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. Anyways, let's keep
So
going.
remember, who wrote the Bible? Richard Elliott Friedman. Very good gateway.
Triple recommend.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. And when Moses saw that the people had broken loose, for Aaron had let them break loose, to the derision, derision of their enemies. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on the Lord's side? Come to me." And all the sons of Levi gathered around him. Keep this in mind. All the sons of Levi gathered around him.
So, like you said before, this is embellishing Levi's group.
I haven't gotten to that in this stream. That's what I told you before the thing.
Right.
We'll get to it. It's pretty interesting.
So, but like you were saying, though, in terms of authorship,
Yeah.
That last one is embellishing the priest and talking about how Aaron's a great guy, and this one's talking about how Aaron might not be such a great guy.
Exactly, yeah.
And that his
descendants.
Yeah, the Levites' descendants are the ones
Oh,
that are great.
Yeah, yep.
So
The Levites are the great ones.
So that's a very stark position change from the last author.
Exactly.
Yeah, very interesting.
That's how we can tell it's a different author, completely different perspective,
Yeah.
completely different agenda.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right?
I'm learning,
Yeah, that's why it's so cool.
as Ralph Wiggum would say.
I'm learning.
learning.
Okay.
Principal Super Nintendo, I'm learning. It's a great quote. I'm sorry.
And all the sons of Levi gathered around him, and he said to them, "Thus says the Lord God of Israel, put your sword on your side, each of you, and go to and fro from the gate throughout the camp. And each of you kill his brother and his companion and his neighbor." And the sons of Levi did according to the word of Moses.
Wow.
And that day about 3,000 men of the people fell. And Moses said, "Today you have been ordained for the service of the Lord, each one at the cost of his son and of his brother, so that he might bestow a blessing upon you this day." Wow. He just ordered a slaughter.
Damn, dude, that's fucking brutal.
He ordered a fucking slaughter. At that point,
We got a subscriber. I heard it.
Did you?
Yeah, it should pop up on there in about 5 seconds. So let me maximize it so we can say thank you really quick. Oh, impossible to read.
Oh, yeah, you can barely read that on the background.
Oh, damn.
Well, thank you, new subscriber.
Yes, good to have you.
Yes. So, yeah, I figure at this point you may as well just have had God do the punishment, because that was mean.
Yeah. Kill all of your friends and family who aren't over here, basically. Jeez, brutal.
The other. The next day, Moses said to the people, "You have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin." So Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Alas, this people have sinned a great sin. They have made for themselves gods of gold. But now, if you will forgive their sin, but if not, please blot me out of your book that you have written." Interesting. But the Lord said to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of my book." Well, that's not accurate. But now, but now go.
How are we talking about this?
But now go, lead the people to the place about which I have spoken to you. Behold, my angel shall go to you. Nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sins upon them. Then the Lord sent a plague on the people, because they made a calf, the one that Aaron made. So.
Wow. So it just ends with another random plague after 3,000 people died?
Yep.
How anticlimactic.
Yeah, right?
They don't even describe what kind of plague. It's just a generic one.
Yeah.
You know, you get the point at this point what the plagues could be, so they just fill in the blank.
All right, and now some notes.
The analysis.
All right, so I'm just going to go over some of the stuff that I wrote. So E, the Elohist, he calls God Elohim along with P. The entire story of the golden calf was written by this one author, E. He was a Levite, so he always portrays Moses as the hero. And obviously, he is making Aaron look bad. Let's go on here.
I guess, hello, Germany. I know that's kind of late. Hi, Switzerland. That's kind of early. And if you're all from Europe, that's kind of cool. I mean, maybe there are more atheists there. It's probably
there are.
There definitely statistically there should be more guys there. So it's great to hear from you all.
Yeah. Okay. So now what I want to point out first is the dating of these books. So the guy who wrote Deuteronomy, or part of it, he also wrote Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings, and that's called the Deuteronomistic history. I have trouble saying the word.
Deuteronomistic.
Yeah, Deuteronomistic history. That's
kind of rolls off the tongue, but it also is dumb.
So he wrote the first edition of this history in the days of King Josiah, and then that was around the 7th century, and then there was an exile. So they were cast out, and the writer had to go back and make up for the discrepancies because so many parts in those next books were like, you will...
we don't have brave guys like you in Europe. We're in a fortified secret bunker. We don't have to be brave. What are we worried about?
All right.
No,
so,
you could hack our stream and we could be screwed. Please don't screw with us.
Great, you gave them an idea.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking die. All right, so what I want to point out here that I was getting to.
Sorry, I like our comments. It's great to hear from all you guys.
Yeah, it's great that you guys are commenting. We love it. So the really interesting part here is... Fuck you. I lost my fucking train of thought.
You were on the dates.
Right, yes, thank you. I was on the dates.
I'll help you
so
with that.
he was, so these guys were exiled, and in these histories that he wrote, I guess, he wrote stuff about, your people will rule this kingdom forever. But then they didn't rule anymore. They were exiled. So the writer had to go back and find loopholes in his own writing to try to explain why they were exiled. So he wrote the second edition. And he just pretty much added upon to what he already had. He didn't.
And so he added some conditional phrases you had mentioned earlier. What were those?
Yeah, he wrote that. He didn't say like conditional and non-conditional, but he did say actually.
He added those words.
He added words like conditional and non-conditional, and in very particular circumstances, and depending on who. So he was writing to make up for it. Yeah. He was kind of fixing his own blunders. And that was from around 586 BCE to 539 BCE, somewhere in that time period. So the same dude wrote that.
So the Europeans may be more interested in the atheistic evolution in America than Americans. You think?
Shit, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel pretty invested at this point. But I might be a statistical anomaly, so fuck it.
All right, and then later, after this, this is where we finally get the writing of the Torah. The first 5 books. You had okay. I'm stuttering a lot. Yeah. Yep.
Try again.
Okay.
Let's rewind.
So after 538 BC, the Torah was written. So you have the first 5 books. And in the exile portion, the Deuteronomist, the Deuteronomistic historian, I should say. Yeah, I know. He had to, complete that second edition of Deuteronomy. But it wasn't fully completed because when they were writing when people were writing the Torah, I don't know who it was exactly, but someone had to pretty much finish Deuteronomy to make it the official ending for the Torah. They had to conclude it. They had to tie it all together. So the Torah, what we're reading right now, was written after much of the upcoming stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's a rewrite.
It's not a rewrite. They're kind of using this to serve as so just like the guy who wrote Deuteronomy, how the Deuteronomistic historian was writing to make up for the mistakes he had made in the past, to give an explanation and a reason for why they were exiled. The authors of the Torah were doing the same thing, but from a divine perspective. They tried to give parallels with the creation.
So this, and it kind of goes into it a little bit, reassuring them that they're still the chosen people.
Yeah, in this
maybe
story,
that was added in a bit more embellished.
So the thing here. All right, let's actually continue on our analysis. Okay. So just remember that the Torah was written, and parts of it were written to parallel the histories that come later, but were written before it.
I see.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, interesting stuff here. That's why I thought this was so super cool. So the golden calf, it was supposed to parallel the golden calves of King Jeroboam in 1 Kings 12. So if it wasn't clear enough just from the calf thing, they also use the exact same word, the exact same words. These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt.
Note gods.
Yes, note gods. Those were the exact words spoken by King Jeroboam. So this story was written as an allusion to that story.
Or you could say subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah,
But,
well, kind of.
Considering the order it is in which it was
illusion.
written, it was an illusion.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
You're correct.
Okay. Let's see. So why did the author depict...
It's very hard to believe, sorry, that 70% of Americans believe in angels.
Isn't it crazy?
Is that real?
Yeah, that is real.
Jeez, guys.
Israel. Sorry.
It's real. But that is crazy. That's hard to believe, honestly. Guys, there's probably not winged beasts floating around anywhere other than, like, birds and shit, right? They're not angels. Oh, airplanes. Forgot about those.
All right, so the question is, why was Aaron depicted as the leader of the heresy? Well, since this was written by a Levite, they were denigrating the ancestry of Aaron, or the ancestry of the Jerusalem priests. I think that's a better, more clear way of putting it. I think, okay. So, and I noted here that Joshua would be very interesting in this story.
Right.
Just his inclusion. He only shows up, like, his name pops up once, and it's like, that's it. Like, there's no other...
Is he a Levite?
Maybe? Okay, no, he's not. Okay, I got this right here in my notes.
Very good, very good.
Joshua was a northern hero.
Okay.
His home tribe was Ephraim, and it also explains why Joshua was Moses' successor. He was kind of separate from the bad shit going on, so they could justify why he was his successor.
Yeah.
I think that's all the stuff I had on that.
Well, somebody asked a question that's a bit dated, but we'll cover it anyways.
Question?
How did Moses know that he was Jewish if he was found in a basket as a baby? God. All right, let's move on. Honestly, that's the fill in the blank answer, right?
Yeah, you can just throw it in magic.
Yeah, all magic or God. I wish we had more conclusive answers than that, but it's kind of high fantasy, so you can fill in the blanks with magic or God. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else?
I don't know.
Isn't Judaism inspired by an ancient Persian belief?
In part, yeah.
What is that called? Zoroastrianism?
That's Iranian.
That's Iranian.
Yeah.
And is that all based off of the sun god kind of thing?
Ahura Mazda, he was... I totally forgot. I did an episode on Zoroastrianism, but I've completely forgotten.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well...
But there is a mystery on Zoroastrianism. I talk about it. But yeah, many of Zoroastrian beliefs were imparted, but I'm not sure if that's the one you're referring to. You said Persian, so...
Mm-hmm. He says Persian, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I don't know.
Egyptian beliefs, too.
Yeah.
Somebody else
it was a bunch of shit.
Okay.
That's why I said, in part, it was influenced by that. Because these were all popular themes at the time. If they wanted other tribes to understand them, they would kind of have to write similar mythologies, I guess.
Yeah, I think it could go all the way back to Babylon, too.
Yeah.
I do think it can find its roots.
Definitely.
In there, especially the sky god fight creation myth, which is completely removed in some ways from here.
And also, Jesus himself shares parallels with Inanna.
Oh.
Yeah, because Inanna, she went down to the underworld, and then Ershkigal, like the goddess of the underworld, hung her body up on a post for 3 days.
Oh. Well, this is mythicism, technically, what you're talking about.
Yeah. But it's still in records.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, The Descent of Inanna. You can look up the poem.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered most of the comments. Thanks for those. It's great to have some interesting questions to engage in.
Yeah, and thank you so much for staying with us. And if you're liking the stream, please drop a like. It really helps us out.
Check out our forum and stuff.
Yep, MilwaukeeAtheist.com, Patreon, Facebook, Twitter, shill.
Yeah, just unsubscribe already. All right, so we got another chapter for you.
Yep, chapter 33.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Depart, and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, unto thy seed I will give it. So here's your thing that you get from your relatives. And I will send an angel before thee. 70% of people believe that happened. And I will drive out the Canaanite and the Amorite and the Hittite and the Pezerite and the Hivite and the Jebusite. So all the other tribes that are of Judaism that are hanging out there, he's asking an angel to drive them out.
Yeah.
So why is he doing that? I thought
Well,
they were still God's chosen people
no,
too.
it's that the Lord said it to Moses.
So
So that's God saying that he's going to drive them out.
yeah, but I'm asking why is he doing that?
Well, maybe we can get a couple of hints if we see who wrote it. So what, chapter 33? Here's something very interesting. It was written by, there's also another author in here, R. I haven't gotten to R yet, so I don't know what that is. I'm just over halfway through. I apologize for my ignorance on this.
But soon this book will be a good reference for that all the time once you're finished reading.
Yeah. So what's interesting is this part actually, up to 11. So for this chapter, so 33:11 is where this ends. But that part, so this is still being written by E. This is still being written by the same guy. He's still going.
And he goes till 11?
Until verse 11.
Verse 11.
In chapter 33.
Right,
yeah.
I was saying that before by accident, and this is where that is. All right. Let's see. Unto a land flowing with milk and honey, which again, I don't feel as if that is advantageous.
It's not that
the wasps,
amazing.
Oh God, the wasps. And I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people.
Yeah. So God's like, you suck. Moses told me you suck.
Yeah. Least I consume thee in the way. Oh, what does that mean? Is it a threat?
Are you reading verse 4?
3. The end.
Oh, yeah. Lest
I consume thee in the way.
Yeah.
So is that kind of a threat?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like if I go over there, I know I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah, basically.
Better not do that.
Uh-oh. Go to that land of milk and honey whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
Okay. And the people heard these evil tidings and mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. So they didn't wear fancy clothes? Like jewelry?
When the people heard this disastrous word, they mourned, and no one put on his ornaments. So, yeah, I guess they just weren't in the mood
They weren't in the mood for fancy dressing.
No.
I see. For the Lord had said unto Moses, say unto the people of Israel, ye are a stiff-necked people. I will come up unto the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Let's just end it there. Now, therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that I may know what to do unto thee. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the, what's that? Mount Horeb? Or Horeby? By the Mount Horeby. And Moses took the tabernacle.
Horeb.
He took the tabernacle? Oh, and because you can move the tabernacle, right? Obviously, we have the picture of that.
The tabernacle's the whole fucking structure.
Right.
I don't think it's not finished yet. Is the thing.
Oh, and pitched without the camp, far off the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. So this is him actually putting it down. And it came to pass that everyone which sought the Lord went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp. Okay. Keep going. Anything you got to say here?
No.
No, we're good? All right. And it came to pass when Moses went out unto the tabernacle, that all the people rose up and stood, every man at the tent door, and locked after Moses, until he was gone unto the tabernacle. What's that mean? Everybody waited at the door until Moses got in?
And when all the people saw the... Wait, which verse?
8.
It came to pass. Holy shit. Yeah, whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise up. and each would stand at his tent door and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. Okay, so they're just kind of watching
that it
him
was
go in.
locked, or looked after Moses, sorry, and looked after Moses until he was gone into the tabernacle. So they wait for him to go in.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes sense. And it came to pass, as Moses entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle, and the Lord talked with Moses. And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door, and all of the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent door. So they don't get to go in.
No, they're just worshiping.
And they get to see this big cloud, which could just be some guys, holding the incense, smoke in the tent.
Yeah.
It's a very thick tent, so you could easily hold in that much incense. Oh, hi, Florida.
Hello,
it's
Florida.
Good to see somebody else from America. Not that we have anything bad with Europe. I'm British too, so it's all good there.
And I'm Russian, so...
Yeah, so we're okay with Europe as well. I mean, what aren't we okay with? It's kind of hard to...
pretty much okay
Pretty
with
much
whatever.
everything. We're all right with
Yeah.
people. People are nice.
What we're saying is we're not racist, and we're, what's it called?
How could you be
Hold
racist
on.
against somebody that's supposed to be
Hold
your
on,
own
hold on.
race, quote unquote?
I'm virtue signaling here. I'm not a racist.
Yeah,
Okay.
virtue signaling. Oh, good. Maybe the PC culture will die someday. Who knows? Anyways, let's keep going. Where am I at again? I've totally lost my train of thought here.
I think you're on 11, right?
11?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're having the transition to a new author.
No, this is still that same author.
At 12, right?
Verse 11.
Oh, I haven't done 11, you're right, okay.
No.
And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend, and he turned again unto the camp. But his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, which is a person, not nobody, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle.
He wouldn't leave the tent,
Got it.
basically. Yeah.
Oh, so he was there with God. So Joshua going to die, as far as I know. And Moses said unto the Lord...
Hold on.
Oh.
Now we can stop here.
Da-da-da.
Now this section is written by...
Oh, Durst. I can't read that. Durst. What does individuation mean? Gorm,
Individual.
Oh,
Individual situation.
Ah,
Brett Keane.
Brett Keane.
It's a Brett Keane joke.
I got the gourd now. Jorb. Very good.
All
Hi,
right.
Durst. Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, good to see you, man. So, this next section... wait, what?
Wait, what?
Hold on.
Okay. I'm holding on.
Oh, okay, I see. So
Here
no,
come the part where they're lost for 40 years.
we're still in E. So E is still going here
Oh, when does it switch?
at 23. This is just a different story, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Fair
switches
enough.
at 23.
Okay, so it's still the same guy. Weird that it would switch mid-thing, I think,
Yeah, I mean,
But
but that's
has it
just
happened?
Yeah.
I think sometimes they intertwine things, right?
Yeah,
As
they
you
do,
said,
yeah.
They overlaid them. This one, not so much, or at all. Okay, so 12. And Moses said unto Moses, See thou sayest, what? And Moses said unto the Lord.
You said Moses said unto Moses.
Seven, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and Moses.
And Moses too.
Yeah. He's like the half and 2.5 men. This is 3.5. There you go. Sorry, Moses, you don't say things to yourself. And Moses said unto the Lord, See, thou sayest unto me, Bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. What is he saying here?
Which one?
13.
13. Now therefore, if I have found favor in your sight, please show me now your ways, that I may know you in order to find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people.
Ah, okay.
That makes more sense.
Thanks. A lot more sense. And he said, My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. And he said unto him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. So if he didn't get to go, nobody gets to go. For within shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Question mark. I didn't make it sound like a question. Is it not in that thou goest with us? Help me, ow.
Is it not in your going with us, so that we are distinct, I and your people, from every other people? Okay.
Yeah. So shall we be separate, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. I still think the phrasing for mine is so ineloquent.
It was really.
Is it not in that thou goest with us?
Like, it makes sense if you say it real slow.
Yeah,
like.
but it's gobbledygook if you're trying to read it over at a reasonable pace. Okay. So I've got 17
17,
now.
yep.
And the Lord said unto Moses, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. And he said, I beseech thee, show me thy glory. And he said, boy, there's a lot of ands he said, since, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious. And I will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. This is, oh no. So it keeps going. And he said, thou canst. No, look at that, it's canst.
That is canst.
Canst, everybody. Where is it now? I lost canst.
Canst.
I'm just kidding. Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live.
Which is really weird because Moses was just talking to him.
Isn't Joshua also kind of hanging out there?
Yeah.
Didn't he look at God multiple times, Moses? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
He keeps saying that, but like, whatever. It's an empty threat. I don't see anybody dropping dead yet. And the Lord said,
behold,
there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. Great. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a cliff of the rock, and I will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away mine hand, and thou shalt see my back parts.
My back.
But my face shall not be seen. So he is a volcano. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Problem solved.
So I'm getting. This is so weird.
Oh, we rock. Thanks.
Thank you. I get it. Rock.
Rock.
All right. So chapter 34.
Oh, anything else you want to say about this real quick?
Not really.
No, it was pretty straightforward.
I got nothing.
I
that was
felt
all
like we
written
talked
by.
about it.
Yeah, that was all written by one dude.
Yeah, and this one's written by one dude as well?
I think by a couple.
Couple dudes?
Yeah.
So will it seem like it's interwoven somewhat, perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a look. This does certainly seem to be a longer chapter, and then evidence that that would be the case, that there will be restating as well. Because if you think about it, like, maybe you can tell mathematically how long they were supposed to be until somebody edited them.
Yeah, we can separate these things.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, like there are two flood stories, and actually, what's really interesting, and
there we go.
Forgive this this shout out here, once again. What was really interesting is that there are two flood stories, and in this book, he actually separates them, and you can read both flood stories separately. It's really fucking awesome. So I really do recommend this book. Yeah, so I'm starting to get into Old Testament stuff too, which is really weird for me. Like, I'm still doing New Testament stuff. Yeah, let's do this. All right, chapter 34.
No copyright infringement.
The last chapter we are doing today.
Yes, and thanks so far, if you've been with us this long, for being here this time. And we hope you've enjoyed it so far.
Yes, we really do.
Glad you have if you have.
Yeah, and remember to drop a like if you haven't. It really helps us out.
And say hi to Ruben. I don't know how you would. But, you know.
All right. The Lord said to Moses, "Cut for yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Be ready by the morning, and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me on the top of the mountain. No one shall come up with you, and let no one be seen throughout all the mountain. Let no flocks or herds graze opposite that mountain." So Moses cut the 2 tablets of stone like the first, and he rose early in the morning and went up to Mount Sinai as the Lord commanded him, and took in his hand 2 tablets of stone. The Lord descended in the cloud and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of the Lord. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness."
Mine is very different. Gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth. How totally different
That
from
is
yours.
very different, yeah.
Weird.
Keeping steadfast love for thousands, except for the 3,000 that Moses had killed.
Forgiving inequity and transgression and sin. He didn't, though.
Forgiving. Forgiving
he
iniquity and transgression and sin, but who will by no means clear the guilty.
Right.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children and the children's children to the 3rd and 4th generation. And Moses quickly bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. And he said, "If now I have found favor in your sight, O Lord, please let the Lord go in the midst of us. For it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance."
Okay. Well, I want to stop you here. Somebody brought up something kind of interesting.
Okay.
Someone was talking about homeopathy before, and it's kind of higher up on the comments, but that's whatever. All I wanted to say was that there was a new episode of, it's called Kurzgesagt, but it's got another name now. That's the German name for it. Do you know what that's called?
I know you're talking about
in English?
No.
No? Okay. Well, recently they came out with a new episode that was out 2 days ago about homeopathy, and I found it fascinating that, obviously it's bunk.
Yeah.
But the placebo effect's cool, and I'm not here to talk about that either, but they talk about those 2 things in that episode. But the thing that I found most interesting is that it's impossible for anything over like a 10th dilution
to actually do anything?
actually contain any of the original anything of it. Like supposedly it's the essence, but there's atomically no evidence. And they mentioned in the episode that a 20 times dilution would be comparable to a
drop of it in the ocean or something, right?
Oh, no.
No?
No. A single atom of it compared to the stellar mass of our solar system.
That's
insane.
That's basically nothing.
That is nothing. That is more than nothing. In a bottle of water, you couldn't contain that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so...
I didn't know the specifics on it, but...
Well, that was the most specific quote I would have from that, and it's really good. So, by any metric, it's complete bunk. Let's continue.
Yes, let's continue. And he said, "Behold, I am making a covenant. Before all your people I will do marvels, such as have not been created in all the earth or in any nation, and all the people among whom you are shall see the work of the Lord, for it is an awesome thing that I will do with you." So, remember guys, Behold t-shirts on sale on our Teespring, link in the description.
Oh yeah, I got a fun image of
me.
Behold. Lawrence. That's great.
"Observe what I command you this day. Behold, I will drive out before you the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Take care lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land to which you go, lest it become a snare in your midst. You shall tear down their altars and break their pillars and cut down their Asherim."
Yeah, sorry. And here it is Mine says break their images and cut down their groves. So basically pillage the village and destroy their history and culture.
So yeah, pretty
So
much.
this encourages that behavior.
Yes, it
That's
does.
not very nice. If you're trying to
no,
teach
it's not.
your morals off of that, you know, you could lose out on some good values there. Like
Yeah, but most
cafeterias.
yeah, most, because you'll get it in a second. Most Christians are cafeteria Christians
Oh.
because they pick what they want. They cherry
Ah,
pick,
yeah. Gotcha.
You get it.
Cherry picking.
Yeah,
Cafeteria.
cafeteria.
Very
Yeah.
good. That's the food court Christian.
Yes.
There you go.
For you shall worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous,
Is a
jealous
God.
Wow.
Wow.
Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and when they whore after their gods and sacrifice to their gods, and you are invited, you eat of his sacrifice, and you take of their daughters for your sons, and their daughters whore after their gods, and make your sons whore after their gods. Shit.
There's a lot of whoring going on.
Yes, there is.
Jeez.
What a great time to be alive. You shall not make for yourself any gods of cast metal.
Molten gods.
Yeah, which is really interesting. This is a... I want to see who wrote this, because the same word was used in the golden calf story.
Yeah.
It was molten, or cast metal.
Right.
So, what is this? 17. So I'm just very interested to see who wrote this.
Sure.
Let's see. I just keep
And
fucking...
if you guys hear that in the background sometimes, that's the sump pump, and it's raining. We can't do anything about that. Got two of them, so, you know, twice the action.
Okay, so this was written by Jay, the Yahwist.
Okay.
Okay. So different guy from before.
Gotcha. It still sounds pretty... I mean, he uses some phrasing differently, but he uses some phrasing similarly, and I don't know how much was changed to make it more consistent.
I'm not sure.
That would be really interesting.
I'm not profound in this, so
You're not
I wish...
profound in this.
Yeah.
You're not proficient in this.
Whatever, proficient. It's probably proficient.
It's definitely not
Okay.
profound, though.
Okay.
Whatever.
So I'm
it
not
is.
proficient in this. This
There
is
you
not
go.
my strong suit.
Yeah, there you go.
So I apologize that I can't be more educational on
We're
this
all
one.
working on it.
Yeah.
Sorta.
But I picked up stuff for it to learn more about it. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the time appointed in the month Abib, for in the month Abib you came out from Egypt. All that open the womb are mine, all your male livestock, the firstborn of cow and sheep. The firstborn of a donkey you shall redeem with a lamb, or if you will not redeem it, you shall break its neck. What?
I gotta stop you because the phrasing here is ridiculous.
Is it?
All that openeth the matrix is mine.
The Matrix.
M-A-T-R-I-X.
Yep, Matrix. Damn.
I can't believe it says all that openeth the matrix is mine. It just sounds like a terrible video game.
All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem, and none shall appear before me empty-handed. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest. In plowing time and in harvest you shall rest. You shall observe the Feast of Weeks, the first fruits of wheat harvest. Yeah, that was weird.
Wheat's harvest.
Of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end. 3 times in the year shall all your males appear before the Lord God, the God of Israel. For I will cast out nations before you and enlarge your borders. No one shall covet your land when you go up to appear before the Lord your God 3 times a year. Now what's really interesting is that once again, bunch of broken promises.
Yeah.
But I guess they're not really going 3 times a year anymore, so that must explain it. All right. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, or let the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover remain until the morning. The best of the first fruits of your ground you shall bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk.
Oh, there it is again.
There it is. There it is. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk.
I feel like they talked about this before already.
I think they did.
Yep, so here it is again.
There it is.
Wow, you really got to rub that in. Now everybody knows.
Just don't fucking do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what Kyle says, or Joseph Kyle Richards says in his priest costume. He says, just don't fucking do it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much exactly what he says.
And the Lord said to Moses, write these words, for in accordance with these words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. So he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor drank water, and he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. One thing to point out before we finish this up, because we still have a little section to do.
Yeah, I got about
This time, remember, only the first time the tablets were written, were they written with God's finger. Only the first time.
Oh, but he said that he would write them with God's...
No. The first time they were written with God's finger, and then he broke them, and now Moses is writing them.
That's the thing, though. God still said he would write them again for him.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, he would write them again, not with his finger.
Pretty sure he said
He did not say with his finger.
Are you
with
sure?
His finger appeared once. Just trust me on this one.
I think you're right.
With his finger appeared once. And they make the same kind of allusion in the Jesus story with the woman taken in adultery. I think he wrote on the ground twice, but I think only one time it says with his finger.
I see.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think.
Oh, another
we got
subscriber.
a subscriber.
I don't think we'll see it. I wish I gotta change the text color for that. I mean, it's not good for this background.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can barely read them.
No, background's bad today.
Yep, sorry.
But
thank you. Thank you for abandoning God.
It's always nice to see more people do that
Thank you.
these days.
Yeah.
Where did they find the goat? What goat? They're referring to all goats. Just generically, don't boil them.
Oh.
Goat and...
Yeah, just don't boil them.
Just
in their mother's
generically,
milk.
yeah.
That's immoral and wrong. Everything else is fine here. Breaking a
Does
sheep's
that
neck.
mean that a goat burger with goat cheese isn't kosher? Maybe.
I think kosher is like if they're handled by Jewish hands.
I also believe it is certain types of meat where it is on the animal is the kosher meat.
Okay.
And I think you're Jewish. How did you
I
were
was
Jewish? How did you not know that?
I was never kosher.
I had to deal with people's food problems.
Well, actually,
I worked
my
at
grandparents are
restaurants.
kosher. But
Yeah, I mean, having a job at a restaurant ever as a cook, you kind of have to do kosher on this north side of Milwaukee.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So.
All right, so let's finish this section up here.
Yep.
When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand as he came down from the mountain, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone because he had been talking with God. Aaron and all the people of Israel saw Moses, and behold, the skin on his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called to them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation returned to him, and Moses talked with them. Afterward, all the people of Israel came near, and he commanded them all that the Lord had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And when Moses had finished speaking with them, he put a veil over his face. Whenever Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he would remove the veil until he came out. And when he came out and told the people of Israel what he was commanded, the people of Israel would see the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face was shining. And Moses would put the veil over his face again until he went in to speak with him.
What a weird tradition. Feels very mystical.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that's all about.
No,
but I'm sure I got these great books. They're kind of commentaries, not like they're not exactly commentaries. I think they're surveys. They're called surveys. So I got a survey of the Old Testament and a survey of the New Testament, and perhaps that's covered in them.
Yeah,
they haven't come in yet.
Q&A section. Seems like y'all have got lots of questions.
Yeah.
Why does everything happen in Israel anyways? There's one. Let's start with that question, and anything else that comes up, we'll move on to
Because
next.
God's chosen people. That's about it.
Geographically, it's one of the best trade areas in the world. it's the most desired property
It's
based off
like,
of the fact that it intersects between everything else.
Yeah, it
it's
was
the
like
center
right
of
there.
civilization. It's a very
well, right next to it was the center
one
of
of the.
civilization.
I mean, all the Mediterranean was pretty
Like
desirable territory.
Like Sumer. That
Yeah.
was
Right.
the cradle of civilization.
Right, exactly. And you know, people have lived there for a really long time, and it's been mostly good living conditions with good farming.
It's been,
so,
yeah.
lots of reasons, but mostly it's because of that Fertile Crescent theory, I believe, where humans kind of started around those areas and
really got
started with their civilizations there.
Yeah.
I can't necessitate exactly when and where it occurred, but I believe that that's where a lot of major settlements showed up, and Ethiopia's like that too. So,
yeah,
that whole region that they talk about here.
All right. What's next?
Not a question. See if there are any other questions for us.
And while Chris is looking for questions, remember to like the video if you haven't yet. It really helps us out.
Yep.
And subscribe if you haven't for some reason. You know, MilwaukeeAtheist.com. We got a forum there. Tell us your ideas. Sometimes we take them.
I think you may as well talk a little bit about those events one more time since we've got quite a few viewers. Coming up April 5th, 6th, and 7th, we've got tandem events and a friendly tandem event at the end there.
Yep.
In association with Milwaukee Humanists.
Aaron
Ra coming in with for UWM presentation on the 5th. Aaron Ra going to be here.
It's Aaron Ra.
I like Aaron because I have a friend named Aaron.
Yeah.
So Aaron Ra is going to be here then on the studio on the 6th.
Yep.
And then on the 7th, he's going to be doing another group gig with Milwaukee Humanists with the band Astral Subastral, so go check those guys out as well. I'm sure they have information on a meetup page or on their Facebook page. Either way, it's there.
Yeah, it'd be great to see you guys.
Aaron is cool. Yes, agreed.
Aaron's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for the Sunday school. You're welcome. No problem. Quite a lot for that. What book did you mention earlier? Yes. So we can always go back to that, and I think we'll be using it more often as I see it.
Yeah, this is a good book. I'm still reading it. I'm, like I said, over halfway through it. It's really good, actually. Who Wrote the Bible by Richard Elliott Friedman. It's fairly cheap, actually. I think it's like $10 on Amazon or something, maybe a little more. Very good book. I think it's a great introduction if you're getting into Old Testament stuff. Yeah. It's not like super specific, but it's digestible. It's specific enough and digestible. That's what I like about it as an introduction.
You know, ironically, I work hard on Sundays because somebody says, here, have a great Sabbath day. And I'm like, I kind of do the most stuff on Sundays. Huh.
Yeah, you kind of do.
I kind of do. Let's see. There was one other question here. Oh yeah, what book would contain the two flood stories separated? Is there a...
Separated, I don't know. But in this book, again, this is why I think it's so great, it doesn't exactly separate them. I guess I was kind of wrong before. But the thing is, they have the story, they have the flood, Genesis 6:5 to 8:22, right? Is that all? Yeah. Genesis 6:5 to 8:22, and what this guy did was actually he has some of it bolded and some of it not. Let's see. The flood story is a combination of the J source and the P source. J is printed here in regular type, and P is printed in boldface capitals. If you read either source from beginning to end and then go back and read the other one, you'll be able to see for yourself two complete, continuous accounts, each with its own vocabulary and concerns.
So one guy says the cradle of civilization is not Israel. Agreed.
Right.
But the cradle of civilization was near that area.
Yeah.
That's
very
all.
Close to it.
You know, and it's a good trade area, and it's got ports, and it's got stuff that everybody liked. And I think it could have been arbitrary, really, what you would choose to be your holy land, but that's what was picked and happened to be where the event supposedly took place. So it's just that. That's why. I don't mean that civilization arose in Israel. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. So
Mesopotamia. That's one.
Mesopotamia. Yeah. Sumer.
Got pork. It's got pork? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think that summarizes everything for today.
Yeah, and remember to follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page. It really helps us out.
Don't forget, next week Ruben's going to be back, and we'll have another great bunch of tabernacle nonsense.
Yeah,
for how many chapters? 6?
6 chapters. We're just going to go right through it.
Big special.
We're going to finish up the tabernacle because fuck the tabernacle. And remember, if you like what we do and if you want to help us do what we do, you can just consider becoming a patron. You could be on this show. We got lots of cool rewards.
And definitely let us know about your ideas for special content that you want us to do more in-depth research on or more suggestions. Thank you so much for what you've had so far, too.
Yeah, and you can leave those on MilwaukeeAtheist.com.
Thanks again for joining us,
yes,
and we'll
see
you next week.